How big can I get my heart to be?
Thought Media Network proudly presents
How much love can I get flowing out of me?
The Real Talk Sisters. Deep, unfiltered, soulful conversations with Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, Reverend Kim Andrews, and Reverend Melinda Wood Allen.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Join us for Real Talk on Real Issues. Tuesdays, 2 p.m. Central, 1 o'clock Mountain. And now, let's join the Real Talk Sisters.
How big can I get my heart to be?
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
I'm glad
Welcome
to be
back.
Glad to be back. How are y'all?
Good, good.
Good.
It's a long weekend. I just had this whole graduation ceremony and 3 weeks, 3 days of intensive training before we graduated on Sunday afternoon. But it was really wonderful, really, really wonderful. So
Awesome. Good for you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
it was great.
So any of you needing life coaching, Pjae is now certified in, tell me what that is.
This is a flame, so we just light to help you ignite your own flame, by creating your own vision and things like that. So yeah, it's a dream. I'm a dream builder, transformational coach. That's what I am.
Builder.
Excellent.
Transformational coach. Yeah, so it's just wonderful. It's just great. Thanks.
So I'm Reverend Melinda Wood Allen from the Church of One Love in Dallas, Texas. Really, really glad to be here. I had a shoulder replacement surgery almost 2 weeks ago, which is why I missed last week. I wasn't quite up to it, but I'm feeling pretty darn good today. Got to take my sling off.
That's amazing. Just amazing how quickly you can recover from a surgery like that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd take me a little PT to be able to use the arm,
Yeah, that'd be good. Instead of having to lift it. Yeah.
But it's amazing how little pain there's been after the first week.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
Yeah.
It's really amazing.
And they just did a simple surgery. It's like, wow. Okay, then.
Yeah. They were
Cameras
cameras in, and here I am, still doing okay.
So my name is Reverend Dr. Pjae Stanley, and I am the spiritual leader of Harmony Spiritual Center in Fort Worth. Welcome, and so glad to have you here today.
And I am Kim Andrews, spiritual leader at Unity Spiritual Center, Saxe in Saxe, Texas. And it is good to be back, and it's good to have all three of us here in the house together.
Yes, love it.
It is.
I
I get jealous when I'm not on because I miss y'all, and I know you're gonna have fun without me. And I'm like,
we are, but we also miss you as well.
Yeah, something happens when it's the trio.
Yes,
Yeah.
something amazing. Something amazing happens. I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
So
Today,
this week, do you want to tell us about it?
it's about discipline, and is it a gift or a punishment? And that's probably a spectrum, because I've been on the punishment side and then figured out how to get back to the gift side. And sometimes I'm in the middle and I'm feeling like I'm being punished, but I realize there's a gift in there somewhere.
Yeah.
There's a pony in there somewhere. I got it.
Somewhere. Amongst all the fertilizer, yes.
For sure. Yes. Oh.
So discipline. I'm usually a very disciplined person. I have always been, from the stories my parents have told me about my very, very young days as a little one. I've always been disciplined. I've always driven myself very hard. And that's when I got into the punishment side of it. Not doing enough. And I also had a perfection thing. So, work hard, be more disciplined, put more time, to myself. And so, I always want to be disciplined. I like the benefits of discipline. I like the gifts of them. And I have been guilty of driving myself too hard quite a bit. and feeling punished, and then getting less return from my work because I am punishing myself and I am overwhelmed and I push the envelope way too far. So you get diminishing returns at some point.
Exactly.
You know,
Anita's writes something here, and I just wanted to speak to it because she says depends on how you're defining discipline. And when we first were looking at this topic, and so we were going back and forth with each other. What do we mean by that? What is? And so you're exactly right, Anita. There's a lot of ways in which to look at it, and so we're kind of looking at it in a way that where we discipline ourselves so we get accomplished the things we want to accomplish, but we're not punishing ourselves. So it's kind of a balancing a balancing act and always having to look at it.
And the word discipline comes from the same root as the word disciple, which means to follow.
Yes.
So we tend to think of discipline as the ways we restrict ourselves.
Right.
Rather than as the ways we're being led.
Exactly. I love that.
Approach it from this idea of there's something that's important to me that I want, that I value, that I'm being led to. And that I put my energy and my focus and my attention on that, then that's a way of being disciplined that doesn't feel like punishment. If we fall away from that idea of what we're being led to and focus on, well, while I'm being led to that, that means I can't do this and I can't do this and I have to work really hard at this and this is, then we get more into what feels like the punishment of it.
Right.
So that idea of what is it to which I am being led? What am I following? And following it with heart and with love rather than with a whip.
Exactly. And so you probably have you've had this experience, Melinda, because you're a musician and you've worked with other musicians, and drummers are a particularly interesting brand of musician. And and so one of the things that I would use to describe my musicians is something shiny. So, whenever we're trying to practice or work or whatever, it's something shiny. They'll be going off and looking at something shiny all the time because their minds are just going with their music and what was that? What was that? And so, exactly. And so the discipline to stay on track so that we can accomplish the thing that we said we wanted to accomplish together. That's one form of discipline, like you're saying, Melinda, that we get to where we say we want to go. That kind of discipline is what we want, as opposed to, and then one of the things that happens, of course, is that we say we want something, we're disciplined to stay there, to go in that direction. And then we don't look at it sometimes and say, maybe once we're getting closer, we're identifying that's not actually what I wanted. I claim that, but as I'm getting closer, I'm finding out, that's not quite what I thought it was going to be. And then because we find ourselves being disciplined, we keep heading towards something we really know we're interested in. And so it's like everything else. We're constantly having to define it, redefine it, reassess what it was we're doing, and not just arbitrarily or just bullheadedly heading in a direction. So there's a whole, as we always know, there's a balance in our whole lives of things that we're doing. And we're constantly looking for the balance of, are we going towards something or running away from something or going towards something we no longer desire?
And I love that you said that, because that, we have a tendency, we have a dream and we're focusing on our dream. And we tend to think that if we reach a point where we go, well, maybe not that somehow we're letting down our dreamer self. And really what it is we're being informed that it's time for a different dream, an expansion of the dream or a different dream. And we're not letting ourselves down when we change our minds. We're acting on new information.
Exactly. And, because I'm the kind of person that gets excited. I just get excited about life. I think life has so many things. I've been in my whole life, I've been called flaky. And I have to look back on myself and go, you've accomplished everything you set yourself out to do. A flaky person doesn't do that. So you don't need to own, what other people call you or say about you is really none of your business. Back to the 4 agreements. Well, people are talking from their own self. They're not really talking about you. Whatever they're talking about, it's about their own experience and not yours. And so, we don't take things personally like that. So, again, back to your own deciding who you are and what you really want. And you're the only one that can do that. And you're allowed to do that.
You have your permission.
Yeah, you have permission to do that. We bless you and say yes to that. It's a sacred yes to that. Yes, for sure. Yeah.
I was very disciplined at a young.
And I'm thinking, in any.
Go ahead, Kim.
Say that again, Melinda. You cut out a little bit.
Oh, I was just saying I also was very disciplined.
I was going to say, with.
There seems to be a lag time between Melinda and you, Kim.
Yeah, as a young child.
Kim, take it away.
There is.
You.
So I was thinking, about Melinda. Pjae was talking about dreams. And so sometimes I may have kept the same dream, but sometimes I just needed to relax about how I got there. Because really, you can set a path for something. And usually, yes, I start driving forward and I drive forward hard. And then I start feeling that punishment side roll up. And then I think, oh, I don't have to drive forward like this. This is my dream. This is my path. I'm the one who's driving this train. If I want to slow it down or stop at different places along the way and enjoy it. And I've learned to enjoy the journey, to yes, go for the goal, but enjoy the journey, enjoy the things that are helping me get to the goal. And so my discipline really is just a practice, like I have a spiritual practice. Yeah. So I have a business practice. I have a business discipline. There are certain things I have to do in order to get where I want to go. And so if I relax and enjoy that, then I come away from the punishment side of it. And I'm really am just enjoying the gifts of it. And I realize that the time and the work that I'm putting in is going to get me where I want to go. And I'm enjoying myself along the way.
Correct.
And that makes it just flips the whole script for me.
It does.
And I did quite a bit of reading about just enjoying the journey, being in the discipline. So as I'm doing the things, I remind myself, this is a choice. And if I don't want to do it, I can do something different. Or I can do this one thing differently. Or I can show up differently. Or I can reframe how I think about it. I'm changing eating habits now. And some other things in my lifestyle, trying to get to bed earlier, have better sleep. That's a discipline. I'm putting together a sleep discipline. And that means I got to come away from the TV earlier. I got to go and take care of whatever it is I do to prep to go to bed, all those hygiene things. I do that earlier at night. But that means I'm not looking at Facebook and stuff like that at 9 o'clock at night. It means I've got this routine now. And I have to remind myself, I'm doing this so I can have better health, so I have more energy, so my brain is working better. And then I go, oh, okay, that's why I'm here.
Right.
And so I switch. And if I don't choose to switch and I just want to stay and look at Facebook at 9 o'clock at night, I don't beat myself up for it.
Okay.
I just enjoy it that night, and I might switch back another day. Maybe tomorrow I get in bed earlier.
Yeah. So it's not this whole all or nothing situation that we tend to, It's not this whole all or nothing thing that we tend to fall into when we want to be disciplined. We're trying to get somewhere. It's like, I got to do the whole thing. I got to stay on track and get there. And I can't, relax until I make sure that I get there. Well, you just said it, Kim, and I love it. I think you said it too earlier, Melinda. It's the journey is also a part of it. It's not just the destination, but it's the journey and who we're becoming. We don't end up at the end of the journey having become something. We're becoming all the way along the journey. And so to be able to recognize that, oh man, I'm different than I was 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. I've not gotten where I wanted to go, but man, I've really changed in the way that I think about something or the way that I see something. You've been talking about, and several of you that are in this class you take with James Mellon, a lot of you have talked about it, about how it's a wonderful class and what you are learning, how difficult it is going through it. But going through it, every time you go through it, you're just so happy that you completed something, what you've learned about yourself, about the universe, and that whole journey and that process has been amazing. So, just understanding that and looking back on what you've done before also helps you to understand what discipline is and how you get there without being so strident about it and enjoying life on the way.
And I would also say that if you have a goal and you can't find a way to enjoy all the way to that goal. I think it was Saint Teresa of Avila that said, all the way to heaven is heaven. All the way to heaven is heaven.
Oh, I love it.
If you are not able to find any heaven in the way, then maybe that goal is not for you.
Yeah.
Maybe
I love that.
for you.
I
And
love that.
As somebody who taught music for many, many years, I would occasionally identify a student who just didn't want to do the work. And what I realized is that sometimes people they don't want to be a musician. They want to be a star. And sometimes, very rarely, extraordinarily rarely, which you wouldn't believe by watching The Voice on TV, extraordinarily, 1 in a billion rarely, does your musicianship take you to being a star. But you're not going to be a star if you can't enjoy being a musician. And part of being a musician is being very disciplined about learning your craft, about learning everything you can about it, and about constantly exercising every little bit of it. You can't stop. You can't say, okay, I play the guitar well now I get to stop. Or I sing well, so the next time I have a concert, I'll sing again. No, you have to just keep on and keep on and keep on. And if there's no joy in the keeping on.
That word that was in my head when you were talking about it. I was just thinking, whatever you're doing, whatever discipline you have, whether it's the music, whether you're an actress, I love speaking, whatever it is, if you're not getting joy in pretty much every part of it that you do, maybe that's not your thing. Maybe really should be bringing you joy along with the work, and and all the discipline to make sure you stay there. There should be joy, a lot of joy on the way.
And it may be like Kim was saying before, it may be that this is not mine to do, but it might be, I got to find a different way to do this. I got to do it in a way that brings me joy. It's one of the things I used to tell my students all the time when I was teaching voice is that when I say you have to practice all the time, I don't mean that every day for hours you have to sit down at the piano and plunk out do, mi, do, and sing exercises all day long. You would want to shoot yourself in the head if that was what you were doing. But what it means is every single time why would you want to be a singer if you don't like singing? So I'm assuming you're going to sing in the shower and while you unload the dishwasher and while you're mowing the lawn and when you're in your car. So what you do is every time you sing, think about, what is my posture? Am I breathing from the place I need to breathe? Is my throat open? Am I doing all of the things that I know to do that will build me in strength while I'm singing? Rather than I say, if you sing all the time and for 1 hour a week while you're in this voice lesson, you sing correctly, then you're just teaching your body how to not sing correctly, except for 1 hour a week. Yeah. But if no matter what you're singing, whether you're doing an exercise or not, make sure that you're doing it in the correct way that's going to support you the most. Right. That you can be practicing all the time, even when you're singing a lullaby or singing to your dog or loading the dishwasher or singing. That's find a different way.
Exactly. One of my favorite memories, and I tell this in stories sometimes on Sunday morning, and I'll never forget it. I was in a store in the company store, and I was working for Continental Airlines, and I went to go pay for something, and the woman was just looking at me like she just had so much disgust on her face, and she's looking at me and she said, "Are you really that happy?" And I was like, "What's happened here? What did I do?" And then I realized, I've been singing as I walked around the store. I didn't even realize I was singing until she said something. So, that's joy, right? Yeah, but she was just really pissed off that I was walking around singing.
That reminds me I think I've told y'all before, I went to see a friend of mine, an actress friend of mine, in a comedy, in a very, very funny and well done comedy. And I was laughing, and this woman in front of me turned around and said, "Your laughter is offensive." I was like, my laughter
is offensive at a comedy show?
You paid money for this ticket. If you're
here
after, bless your little heart. My first thing was like, screw you. And then my second impulse on top of that was, bless your heart. Oh my God. Are you not joy out of this to the point that you're annoyed at other people getting joy out of it. Woo! Woo!
Wow.
I'm glad I'm not living in there. Where in your head,
Yeah.
I'm living in
Sorry.
mine.
I'm
Yeah.
going to apologize for being joyful. I'm sorry. I can't help you with that. I
Yeah.
can't help you with that.
Can't help
Find your own joy.
I love
Can't help
that.
you.
Hey, it's time for us to take a short break. So let's do that now and come back in a couple of minutes.
Very good.
Yay. I love you guys.
Whoa, a nice new commercial. That was great. Me too. Good drums, good music, good, good rhythm there. Nice.
I went back to I went to dictionary.com and I looked up. I knew that disciple was one of that discipline is derived from that, but really a disciple is one that is learning, that is training.
Yeah.
And a discipline is so that you can, because you're in training for something. And I was thinking about it. Once we get to our goal, we probably have to do the same things that we were doing. That discipline and that training and all that learning, you still have to sustain that after you get where you want to go. If you're going to hone your craft, stay good at what you do in order to do. And that's why you should enjoy it, because it's not like it stops once you get to the goal. And sometimes it intensifies, because like you said, if you're out there in the world delivering your craft, your gift to people, then you need to be at the top of your game. And then there are other people out there. And so the discipline doesn't stop. It would be nice if you could just get in shape and stay in shape and not have to work out again. I mean, I had to quit a long time ago, but I still have to do it.
Yeah.
And I still enjoy it. And I love the feeling of being feeling strong when I'm working out. I mean, I love when I'm done, and sometimes I have to talk myself into it. But once I'm in it, I enjoy it. It's usually those 5-10 minutes beforehand where I'm wrestling with myself about, do it or not. And then I say, you know what, I could have been 10 minutes into whatever it I was doing and 10 minutes closer to being done if I had not been sitting here trying to talk myself into it. Just do it. He was right. Just do it.
What that brings up for me, what you're saying is so good, and it seems obvious, but we don't always know this. This is why when people lose weight, they gain it back. I mean, statistically, you lose 20 pounds, you gain back 25. You lose 30, you gain back 32. It's not just up and down, and it gets worse each time. And I think it's because of the mindset that says, I will deprive myself for this period of time. And then when I get to my goal, I can just lean back and do what I've always done. And no, you can't. You have to, whatever effort it took you to get to the place where you're going, it might not take the same amount of effort, but it takes a lot of effort to maintain that place. There's no such thing as, I'm here and now I just get to rest.
Yeah.
Which is why it's important to rest all along the way. To not kill yourself to get there and then be tempted to just go, okay, now I'm done. But to be really mindful of taking care of yourself and finding the joy and finding the rest and finding the gentle ways to be with yourself all along the way. And then you're more likely when you get to the goal to be able to sustain the goal.
And we know see, there are things that we know, we just don't remind ourselves, like you just said, Melinda. But we are constantly evolving. So what we know, we said we wanted to learn. When we get there, we're ready for a whole other set of things. Oh, I'm here, and wait a minute, there's a whole new horizons that I see from here that I didn't see from where I was before. So there's a constant evolution. There's a constant horizon that you didn't see, because it's like what you see at 1 years old or 7 years old, and then what you see at 10 years old, and then what you see at 17 years old. So the same thing with whatever you're doing. There's always a new horizon, and so that is the reason why you constantly the whole triple L, which is lifelong learning. It's always lifelong learning, particularly in a field that you love, the field that brings you joy. So it doesn't feel like it's lifelong learning. It just feels like you're a new horizon that you've seen that you didn't see before. So again, that brings you joy as well.
Yeah. Lovely.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I find is that if I get really, really good at something and I've worked hard to get there, pretty soon, once I get there, I'm not happy with being there. Now I want to be in charge of it. I want to be teaching somebody else how to do it, or I want to be organizing it in some way and involving other people. It no longer feels like a solitary pursuit is enough. Now I want to bring people in, and I want to
absolutely.
And that's a whole nother set of skills. So then you have to keep the first set of skills while you're also developing the second set of skills.
I completely agree.
There's always room for expansion and growth, always. And I have found myself, sometimes even before I get to a goal, thinking, okay, what's next level? Because now I'm seeing that there's something else. Something else is being revealed to me. And this was just a stepping stone on the way to something. And to enjoy that and go, oh, okay, let me get curious about what this might look like. And then I start folding in other disciplines or other things to train, other ways to expand what's happening to this original goal. And it just gets better and better, I think, as you go along. And I like that process. I think that's exciting, to be in that space where you just think, oh, there's more to this. I thought this was the mother lode right here. And you get there and you say, oh my gosh,
there's more.
Yeah, look at the view from here. Like you said, Pjae.
Yeah. And one of the, I just was saying that I just graduated from the class that I wanted to take, and it's what I wanted to do. And I'm loving the information that I've gotten. It's just perfect for me. And while we were there, of course, they introduced the next level. And one of the things for me, for the discipline, because I do get excited. There's more. But you know what? I really want to get more expert in what I'm doing now. And so so the discipline to say, no, that's not for me now. That's not for me yet. What's for me is to get better at what I know now, and make sure that I'm not just reading it, writing it, but or talking it, but I'm owning it. It actually is me. So as I become this thing, this transformational coach, then what's next? But right now, and I see, and they've laid out a path. I can see that if I decide that I want to do something next, if we decide that there's more on this path I want to know, that's fine too. But I don't have to just go, oh, it's next. I'm a singer, not need to be an opera singer, whatever it is. It's always about what brings me joy, what pushes me a little, but doesn't overthrow me so that I'm feeling like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. So that you have to always looking for the overwhelm as well. To me, as I'm moving forward, what's the overwhelm? Where's the sweet spot? And where's the overwhelm? So to me, that's a part of my discipline, is not constantly jumping in and going, what's new, what's next, what's new, what's next.
Lovely. So this idea of that one extreme of it is complacency, like I've done enough. I'm just gonna sit here now, and expect it to keep you're always either growing or you're dying. There's nothing between. There's no stasis in life.
Nope.
So that's one end of the spectrum, is that complacency, or I'm satisfied, that's enough. Enoughness is good as long as you realize that there's a sustained effort that keeps enoughness going. But the other end of that is gotta keep on. There's something higher, there's something bigger. If you haven't learned to enjoy where you are right now, that higher thing is going to bring you. joy.
That's exactly that. I love that you said that, because that's part of the thing you're looking at. It's like, are you searching for the happiness at the next level? You're not even happy here. So are you really looking to learn something more, to enhance what you know? Or are you looking for so maybe this isn't even the right path, because you're constantly thinking, well, maybe at the next level I'll be happier. Maybe at the next level I'll be happier. So again, those are the things that we don't have to do anything. But those are the things we want to concern ourselves with as we're moving forward, as we're evolving. Am I in the right place? Am I doing something that I love? Do I wish to go to the next level when the time is right for me? Or is this the wrong path altogether? Because none of this is bringing me joy. And the next level. So if this level isn't bringing me joy, how's the next level going to do it?
Right.
How's that going to happen?
More of this is not going to
say
no,
at a
this.
higher level. That's
Joy.
not going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. So it's all about really knowing yourself a lot.
We need to be self-aware about things. And like you said, Pjae, sometimes our discipline is about running away from something. And and then you just drive yourself. And then, so if it's an addiction to something, then you might just become addicted to something, but it's healthier. Except when you're driving yourself hard again, then you're just addicted to running, if that's what it is, or exercise, or whatever it is. And maybe you're not drinking alcohol anymore, but you've switched to soda, and then you're just overdoing that. And now you're addicted to the Coca-Cola or something else. So, it does depend on, and we need to sit and think about that, do some introspection. Am I running from something, or am I running to something? And why do I have to run? Can I just strike a path and start moving forward?
What's this running about?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a race. It doesn't have to be a race.
Be the tortoise, not the hare.
Exactly. Just slow and steady. Slow and steady. Get there. All good. And enjoy it on the way.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of beauty in slow and steady. There really is.
It's just beautiful. It's so part of the when I think about traveling, there's all this energy to get going and get on the plane and get where you're going and blah blah blah. But the joy of my thinking is, once I get there, to be here, enjoy the beauty of the place I'm at, enjoy the people, and and just enjoy that. So there has been a bit of a rat race to get to a place, but if it stays a rat race once I'm there, that's all I'm in, is a maze. I'm in a rat race.
I have never understood people who go on vacation and run the whole time. I'm like, what? What are you vacating?
What are you abdicating? Really? What's going on here? Yeah,
exactly. I have a family member that I saw recently that said, we were talking about the trip to Scotland we're making in the spring, and he was saying, do y'all just keep going back to the same places you like? I never go to the same place twice. I always want to go to a new place. And I almost felt like, chastised by that. And then I thought, no, I like to get the true experience of the people and the place. And if I find something that I fall in love with, why should I not experience it more than once and experience it more deeply the second time? Exactly. And no, I don't just go back to the same places I've always been. But
first of all, you can't.
Back once or twice. If I really liked the place, then yeah, I'd like to go again. I want to expand on that.
That whole idea, you can't step in the same spot at the same time. You can't. You go back and you see something different in the same area, in the same country, or whatever. But for the 5 years that I lived in Vietnam, I was up and down the country, the beaches, the it was an amazing spot. I didn't see a quarter of it.
Right.
Quarter of it. So I mean, come on, come on. Yeah. I'm going back to the same place because I didn't experience all the things. And the people from the North are very different than the people from the South, just like we are in the US. You kidding?
Yeah, there is a lot to experience along the way. And I think there's, when I learned how to just be still with something and sit and drink it in, then it did get more enjoyable rather than racing through and thinking about one thing. There were a whole lot of things along the way that just made the experience grander and richer.
Yes.
And I came away feeling richer, like my horizons had been broadened, my heart was more open, I was curious about more things, and I was able to fold some of that back into my life when I got back. And I
love
realized
that.
how much I appreciated when I returned home. And maybe it inspired me to shift something in my life. And, with fond memories of where I had been. And it really can change you if you will allow ourselves in the discipline to just enjoy everything along the way. And maybe laugh at the things that don't go well.
Because it's gonna be
always
something.
gonna come up.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh well, this wasn't where the train was supposed to take me. I mean, but maybe it is.
But
Maybe it is.
it is. Yeah.
Maybe it is. Yeah.
So I know
Maybe I'll stop along the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anita says that which we are looking for, we are looking at and looking with. And I think maybe what you meant by that is this idea that wherever you go, there you are.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
taking yourself along with you. So the next destination, the next goal, the next item to check off your list is not going to make you better if you're not better.
Yes.
And so that really taking care of yourself, because wherever you end up, you'll still be projecting yourself.
There you are.
That is.
Yeah.
So what's the self that you're projecting? And are you spending time on the self, not on checking the boxes for the outer things, but what about the boxes in here? What are your self-care boxes and your respect boxes and your joy boxes and your peace boxes, all of those things that are totally inside jobs, you're going to carry with you to the next goal. And vice versa, all of those inside jobs that are left undone, you're going to carry those with you to your next goal. And she says, and that which everything we need is already present within us. Well, yeah, absolutely. And that's true in the absolute sense. And yet in the relative sense, in the human world, we can be standing here and want to stand. Oh, I can't lift that arm. We can be standing here and want to stand here,
Yes.
So it's going to take a few steps. Yeah,
Right.
we're bringing with us the truth of who we are. And hopefully in those true steps, what we're doing is not changing into a different person, but we're discovering more and more about the truth of who we really are.
Exactly. And just being able to present that the truth of who we are. So, I want to go back to, because all of us in here, have some education of some sort, whether it's with our music or formal education, whatever it is. So we took ourselves with us everywhere we went. But the thriving or driving point within me was to understand more of the thing that I wanted, the thing that I want to do, whether it's the music or whether it's speaking. How do because one of the thing that I am is, or that my purpose is, I feel, is to help other people recognize and realize their true self. And so how do I best do that? That's what I'm learning. So yes, it's already present within me, the desire to do it, but the wherewithal to do it for different people in a different way than how I would understand it is how I'm moving forward. So just addressing what Anita is saying, yes, that is true. It's within me. But the understanding of how that I can reach out and help someone else from where they stand. Those are other things that I'm understanding as well as I meet up with other people and hear how they view something and how they get information in and out, all this kind of thing. That's not in me to know what's going on for you. Yeah. Which is what I want to do. So,
that was something for you to learn. That's a learning curve for you that you're enjoying, that you're taking joy from.
I'm taking joy from that. I really am. I don't need to know everything. I'm good. I love it when somebody shows me something. Oh, Jesus, that is a great way to do that. And that brings it down for me and all this work I'm doing. What is wrong here? Yes, working too hard.
Well, we're about time for another break. So you want to do that, and then we'll come back in just a couple of minutes and talk some more.
Sounds good. I know, just dancing away.
So, what do you think were some of your most challenging disciplines, or that really kind of challenge you the most?
I think it has to. Go ahead, Melinda. I'll come back.
Okay. We were talking about this before the show began. This April, I found out I went in for a routine physical, which I go in and I expect my blood work to be perfect, which it always is. And it showed prediabetes.
Yeah,
and
that's scary.
Threw me for a loop. And I don't want to be on medication. I don't want to go into diabetes. I don't want to be on medication for that. And so for 3 months, I changed my habits quite a bit and ate a lot less sugar, a lot less white flour, a lot less processed and refined foods. And in 3 months, which is really, you do your A1C every 3 months, I found out that didn't actually affect it very much. Which was extremely disappointing to me because I thought, where's the credit for all the donuts I haven't eaten? Where's that?
What is going on with that? All the sacrifice.
I want credit for that. But at that point, it was like, oh, okay, I can't half do this. I'm going to have to do it all the way. And I have been for the last 2 months just completely no sugar, no white flour, much fewer processed foods of any kind. And it's big. It's a big thing. And it's made me really realize how much of my family and social life has been based upon me baking yummy things and sharing them with people.
Right.
And I'm frankly not really willing to bake a yummy thing and share it with people if I can't have any of it. Right?
Know thyself. Okay. Know thyself.
Holidays, and I'm thinking, am I still going to bake a pie? Because y'all know, I usually bake 13 pies the day before Thanksgiving. I bake 13 pies because everybody in the family's got to have their favorite. And the ones that are more than one person's favorite, we got to have 2 of them. And we got to have so people come sometimes.
Nobody's going to share their favorite.
Yeah, they'll take it with them, and I share it all over the place, and all of that.
Of course, you got to taste it along the way. How is it going to be? Seriously, how do you make it without tasting it?
I don't really like this kind of pie, but I still need to taste it to make sure it turned out good, right?
Exactly. Right. Yeah.
And am I going to be willing to do any of that? And I don't know the answer to that question right now.
I got you. I hear you.
What I am is grieving. I am really grieving and realizing I'm not going to get credit for what I don't eat. I'm going to have to find joy in embracing a new way of living, or I won't be able to sustain it. So far, I've complained a lot. Just to let you know, I've not suffered in silence. But I also haven't been tempted to do otherwise. There has not been I wish I could have some, it's just like, no, I've already said no. So you can put all the Halloween candy in the world in front of me, and I know I'm not going to eat any. So it's not that it's hard in that way. I already said one big no, which means I don't have to say no and no and no and
Very
no.
good.
No, I don't have to keep making the decision over and over again. But I'm trying to figure out how to live a different way. And a big question on my mind is, I usually, by this time, I would have baked at least one pumpkin bread. By a couple of weeks from now, I'd be starting to make gingerbread cookies and handing out fudge to the neighbors. And, as we go into Christmas, man, I had like 5 different.
You're certainly going to get pressure from people who expect it from you. It's like, what's going on here? Where's the bread? They have expectations too, because you've been doing this for a long time. So there's that feeling, if you're letting people down. Yeah.
It's probably a good thing we moved last January, because otherwise, old neighborhood, everybody be at my door going, "Where's the fudge? It's December 15th.
Open. Yes. Where's
I'm in that place right now, and it is difficult, and it hurts, and it's sad. I'm having sadness about it, and I hate to say I'm sad about not having the same relationship with food that I've had, but the truth is I'm very sad about it. I'm having sadness and grief, and just trying to honor that, and to look for, as what we were talking about, the discipline of saying no. I got that, but it's not joyful. So I have to build something into the discipline of what my new life is going to be. What am I going to do at the holidays? How am I going to share? If this is no longer the way that I share, how am I going to share? And how am I going to feel good about that? And those are all my choices. And it's not easy.
No, it's not. But part of the thing is to think about what is bringing your diabetes under control. What is that giving you? More time with your family, more time to be around, to see your grandbabies, and so on and so forth. Whatever, you know what I mean. So to constantly look at it, it's not about I'm sacrificing. It's that I'm actually gaining something I want. I have to give this up here because I want this other thing greater than I want the sugar. And you know, constantly reminding yourself of that's again part of the discipline, is saying this is what I'm doing because this is my why. You know, this is my why.
I got to tell you though, today and tomorrow and this Thanksgiving, those long-term goals are not making me feel good.
I know.
No, I'm in the, okay, today, here's what I have to do. Today, here's what I'm giving up. Today, here's what I'm not doing. So what I know is that I have to fill in with what I am doing rather than what I'm not doing. And I have to find a way to find joy in that, because I don't think that something that you're being disciplined in that you get no joy from generally is not sustainable. You're gonna blow. One of these days you're gonna blow. And I know that, and I know this about myself. And so what I find looking back at my life is I'm extraordinarily disciplined about certain things, about things that are important to me, about things that I, not just the things that I get joy from, but things that are really important to me. And definitely the things that I get joy from. And sometimes I get more joy from the finished product than I do from the work itself, but I try to make the work itself joyful. I am in a place right now with my discipline in this area that I have not found the joy. And I'm very clear that if I don't find the joy, I won't be able to sustain it long term. And so I'm trying to be really open and looking and paying attention to what feels good and what doesn't feel good, and finding the ways that I can nurture myself that are not harmful for me. And that's where I am
at this point. It's work. No, at this point it's work. At this point it's a lot of work.
At this point it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and it's part of the work is grief. Part of the work is that was a place you used to get comfort. You can no longer go there. You got to find a different place. You got to find a different place, and giving up your old friends that have always brought you comfort before is difficult, but you have to know that there are new friends that you can also get comfort from.
Yes.
Just haven't found them yet. I'm on the way. I'm on the road.
You know, it matters that what you're heading for right now is an intangible. You know, to change those blood tests, and food, sugar is very tangible. It's not just that you can hold a cookie in your hand, but you got the taste in your mouth. You know, you have that satisfaction. Your taste buds are happy. You're giving things away, and people are saying, "Oh, thank you," and they're happy.
Shared joy. The shared joy.
Things like that. So everything is kind of changing, and that is hard. I mean, the brain has to change. Your mind, your heart. A lot of things are being impacted, and that's why you have so much grief. And I think recognizing that is a gift to yourself, that this is a process, and I need to grieve how things used to be, because I don't want them to be like that anymore, because I do have this goal and I do want to make a change in my health.
Yeah.
And that takes a total reframing, and it's probably going to take months. It may take a year, until you're, into a joy process with it, where you're really enjoying it, because it's changing. It's a huge thing for you. Yeah.
Back to being the tortoise instead of the hare. It's the, slow and steady. If I go, well, I'm not finding you enjoying this, and I just keep drilling at it, that's not going to help. but knowing I'm in the middle of a process and it's a process that'll take a while, and trusting myself, trusting that I will find joy, that trusting that, not knowing that I don't have to know how, I just have to know that I will, and to stay with it until there's a saying that we have in 12 step, don't leave until you get your miracle. In other words, don't give up too soon. The miracle is there. It's going to happen. But if you quit too soon, you'll never get to it. And so it's not knowing what the miracle is or what it will look like or what it will feel like, but trusting that it is. And right now, that's what I hold on to, is trusting that it is, even without knowing what it is.
And every bite without sugar brings you closer to you having what you want.
Right?
And that's what I think of.
For what I don't eat. Those little Snickers bars that are in the Halloween candy that my husband already broke open. I want a gold star for every one of those little baby Snickers that I don't eat.
No, I got you. I understand. I'm completely with you there. Completely, because I have not been able to do that. This is what sustains our whole family. Our whole family is about food. We're talking. We just made a list of who's bringing what for the Thanksgiving dinner, and so we're like, well, who's bringing the liver? Hey, Pjae, are you bringing your dip, whatever the heck it is? Everybody has expectations what people are going to bring, so they can enjoy it on that day. That we're going to sit around watching games and eating this food.
And unfortunately, the way I've set it up in my life is that I do it all. Is that everybody comes to my house for the food that they know I'm going to prepare, and that's what they're wanting and expecting. Yeah. So, including the people who live in my house, who are going, well, wait a minute, am I going to get my? Yeah, well, and my answer so far is I don't know about that.
I don't know just yet. We'll see.
I don't know just yet.
Yes.
We'll see how it works out.
So this thing that you want to do for yourself is impacting a whole bunch of other people who are not going to necessarily be happy about that. And so not only do you have to push through for yourself, you got to push through for other people. Wow. Yeah. Wow. Just kind of recognizing all the pieces to this what that you want, this goal that you signed for yourself, this wanting to have get not have diabetes, has a number of moving parts and people involved. Just knowing that you have no control over how they feel. Yeah, none. And
I don't.
You don't, and you're not responsible for that. They'll have to deal with it.
So there's my hard discipline. What's yours?
Yeah. So do you want to go last, Kim? Okay, so for me, it's the meditation in the morning, and it's the 4 agreements that I kind of hook everything onto. And so the one about not taking things personally, that, and because it's what I want to do, and so it comes up, I can tell myself, all right, don't take this person. This ain't about you, and I have to talk myself through it. So, for example, clearly I'm still working on it. My grandson was in town from California last week. Didn't bother to call me. Didn't let me know he was in town. Was at my sister's house. She didn't tell me he was here. Was visiting Brittany. They didn't tell me he was here. And I just thought, what the hell? What's wrong here? Why did you? Yeah. And then finally I just thought, what? First of all, he's a young person. They're very different than how we grew up. With whenever I'm anywhere near the family, there's no way I wouldn't tell him that they're. But that's how I was raised. That's not how he sees life. That's number 1. Number 2, it ain't about me. He didn't think about, because he had a plan. He was coming to visit a friend of his, do some stuff before he headed out. It wasn't about not seeing me. It wasn't part of his plan. My sister didn't even know that I didn't know. So I'm thinking about that. I was thinking, she probably didn't even know you don't know. She didn't know to call you. She didn't know you didn't know. And so just all those layers I had to keep peeling off and go, it's not personal. This ain't about you. Okay? Your grandson loves you. He calls you all the time to ask for your advice. It's not about that. It's not about you. All right? Let him live his life, however it unfolds. And whenever you get to visit with him or be with him, whatever, then that's what you get. That's how it is. So let breathe, let it go. This ain't about you. And so that's how that process is always. So I love that. But it don't just come, it just doesn't come just, oh, I'm not taking anything personally. No, no. It's very personal until I talk myself out of it and just go, why? Why is it personal? Why is his life about you? And then that turns me around. All right. It's not. It's not his life, not what's going on with my son, not what goes on with any of my children, other than what they want to share with me. Not what goes on with anybody that I love, unless they want to share that with me. That's their decision to make. And so that's just that's just what I'm struggling with. It's not no, I don't want to claim that I'm not struggling with it. It's just one that pops up, and then I say, okay,
Yes.
I've got to get more. I have to be more intentional about that one. That's all. So yeah, don't take anything personal. Is the one that I. The other one, be impeccable with your word. Yep, not a problem. Don't be making assumptions. Yep, got that. Even though I do, but I recognize right away. No, you just assume something. That's not even. How's that true? Um, just do your best. I've always felt like wherever you are is your best. Nobody wakes up and goes, "I'm just going to be half-assed today." Everybody's at their, to me, everybody's at their best. So that's not a, that's not a problem. Not, not taking things personally. That's the challenge. Okay, so that's mine. That is mine. What about you, Kim? Because you
I
got
think mine
this
was
blowing up the emails there.
decades ago when I started meditating. Because it did, I was definitely a doer. My mind is highly analytical. I'm always trying to figure things out. And then, like I said earlier before the show, I was into a perfection thing. And for me, that meant doing, and doing better and doing more. And so when I really having to sit and get quiet was hard for me. And I
Mm,
struggled with
yes.
that for months when I started meditating. And of course, now, it's a habit, but every once in a while, I find myself getting back, especially when I get busy. I get back in that production mode and I may miss a day of meditation or a day or two, but I always know when I'm not doing it because I feel differently and I'm more
Yes.
stressed out and I'm more anxious and
Yes.
I have less patience. And so I think as we get to, because we only have a couple of minutes left, for me, discipline has always meant freedom. And so I know if I stay in and I'm disciplined for something, that it is going to give me freedom. And that's a wonderful thing. And if you're disciplined long enough, then things become second nature. Like meditation is second nature. It really is. And time to be quiet. And I like when something falls out of my schedule and I get quiet moments, or I get 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a half an hour to myself, and I don't have to drive forward. And that's when I feel freedom. And I think that's, for me, that's the greatest gift of discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that
Beautiful.
freedom. Freedom.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
putting in the work now, knowing
Mhm.
that it brings you freedom later.
Yeah. Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Exactly. Which the whole not taking things personally, that frees me up from concerning
Hmm.
myself about what somebody else is doing. That's not my business, and I really know that it's
Yeah,
not.
everybody else's hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
That's
got
right.
your own hill.
And you got more energy to do the things you really want to do.
Exactly. That part right there, I really do. I
Yeah.
really have so much mind energy. I can just let that go.
Yeah.
That's not mine to do. I'm always asking that. What's mine to do? Well, taking things personally is not mine to do. It's just not mine to let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's getting easier. It's still there, but getting easier. And so yeah, it is. I love that the thing that both of you are saying. It's freedom. Working on those things frees me, frees my heart, my mind to actually be present with myself, and for others as they are, not as I want them to be, but as they are. That's
Yeah.
beautiful for me. Yeah.
What a great way to wind up and to end.
Oh, what a
Thank
great,
you, ladies.
what a
This has been
great
a great
subject. Thank
one.
you.
Yeah,
Yay.
thank you.
And
Well,
thank you, Anita, for being here.
thank everybody for being here. We will see you next week.
Yeah, we'll
Thank
be
you,
back.
Zoe, our producer. We love you.
Yay.
So we couldn't do it without you. Literally.
Yeah.
Would not be happening.
So take us home, Zoe. Thank you, everybody.
Right.
Hey. That went well. We
What's
run
going on
stuff
here?
to talk about.
Reverend Mel, this is for you.
Oh, it's my gold star.
Ah, thank you. So sweet. Appreciate you.
See, I wonder how many
Gold
stickers come in
star.
bags. So I need a gold star for each one.
For each one you don't eat. Yes.
For each one you don't eat.
Tell your doctor start giving out trophies. Whenever
There
you
we
come in.
That's what I need.
Not with little ones. We want the big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want a participation trophy. I want a Queen of the World trophy. Yes.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you for my gold stars, though. I really appreciate that.
Beautiful. I love it.
That's right.
Oh,
Oh man. So next week we'll do the there but for the grace of God.
sounds good.
I might do some research on those, see what I can find out.
Sounds good. What we're going to aim at? I mean, what's the focus going to
Lord
be?
knows I've heard enough people say it. And
Yeah.
You know, when I need to look back and see what my notes were for that sermon, but when I first was becoming a minister, I think I was still in seminary, but J.D. Martin said to me, he and Jan were such great supports for me as I was going through this process. And he said, here's what I want from you that he said, I want to hear a sermon on there, but for the grace of God. Because he said that, and he and I both grew up fundamentalist, him even maybe more than me. He was Mennonite.
Ooh.
And he was just that idea of, which I definitely grew up with, exclusion. Like we are the chosen, and oh, those poor people. We're so high above them that we're able to go, oh, there, but for the grace of God, you know. Thank God I have the grace, because obviously you don't, or you'd be doing a lot better. Kind of idea, and how harmful he had felt. He had heard that phrase over and over in his childhood, and how harmful he felt it was. And
Oh, interesting.
so I purposefully, pretty early on in my ministry, did a sermon about that. So I'm going to look up my notes and see what I had to say. I wonder what it was. But
would you say the same things today? And it really depends on what your definition of grace is.
yes.
Well, and then there before the grace of God, to me, has never been about the other person not having it. It's never been about them not having it. It's just, but what it has been about is the capriciousness, is that the word, of God? Like, you never know when a blessing is going to happen. You never know when he's going to answer prayer. So for me, it was a misunderstanding of who God actually was, or who or what God could be. That's what that to me, that's what those statements were for me.
It'll be a good discussion. Yeah.
Huh?
It'll be a good discussion.
Yeah, it'll be a good discussion.
Most people by far who use that phrase are not doing it in a punitive or in a judgmental way. They really, their heart is like, oh my goodness, I'm not thankful enough for what I have, because things could be so much more difficult or so much worse, or I could be in a position that I would really hate. But so most people aren't using it like that. And yet we need to be careful about the words that we use.
Yeah. There's another thing, and it could go with this talk, or it could be a whole other talk, which really, it's not the words, it's not the words that you use. It's the feeling behind what you're saying. And that is when people say, well, have a blessed day. And that's not what they mean. There was one in the parking lot, and she had come around the corner, and this one woman didn't see her. She really didn't. I was back out of my space, and I saw the whole thing. And this other one was waiting to get in, but the woman came around another one. She didn't see that the woman was waiting. So she just saw the space was open, and she pulled in. And the woman was just so very upset who was waiting for it. And then and the woman was trying to apologize. I got out of my car at the time, and the woman was just really, she goes, well, you just have a blessed day. Just like that. And the one who took the parking space, she was just so upset. And I said, this isn't on you. You truly didn't see her. You would not have done it had you done it. So let that go out of your mind. Don't worry about it. And actually do have a blessed day.
Yeah.
I mean, so I hear that a lot.
Listen for yourself. You sound like you need it.
How about that? You have a blessed day, sweetheart, because
you